Hey everybody, welcome back to another Diecast review. Today we're taking a look at a 1/18th scale Kahne Sage Fruit Sprint Car. I've actually had it for a while, but I have gone through and kind of done some counting and realized I never did the video. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this one today, and we're going to look at the boxing and just how these sprint cars come packaged. I don't know if the new ones that are coming out this fall are going to have the same boxing style or anything like that. So there's really no way to tell for sure, but at least you'll know kind of what the old boxes look like. And you know what to expect when you pick up a sprint car if you're a first-time buyer of one of them. So first things first, here's our box. You can see we got number 9 Sage Fruit, then all the sponsors over here on the right side, open joist. And then on the front, this is kind of the front end of the box. You got Kahne up on the top, 1/18th scale on the left side, Sage Fruit across the middle, number down here with the number 9, and one of 504. Again, yes, the production quantity on these is generally pretty low, like in the 500s, so that generally means that these do not, these are harder to get. Like if you want to get a sprint car, get it when it comes out because it's harder and harder and harder the longer you wait. We got Kahne Racing, R&R Sprint Cars, and then the render of the car with the production number of 504. I said 504, I know that. I've had a hard issue tracking a lot of these sprint cars down just because they are, again, they're very tough to find. It's just a production quantity thing, you know, they only make so many of them, and there's just generally not quite as many floating around all the time. So definitely if you're interested in, like, say, Stewart's or Kahne's or any of those guys, put a pre-order in because it's way easier to guarantee you get it. And most of the time you get it cheaper because the prices only go up. I think I've only gotten one at below market value. Okay, there we go. So I got this off. So here's how the old ones came packaged, which was the sprint car in one slot, and then the 2 wings were in the top spots there. And that's just how they kind of lined up. So that's how they would come in a box. There would be some tissue paper on them, but not like a cloth like we used to get in some of those other ones. So there's the base, there's our top wing, and there's our front wing there. So we got those 3 out, and that's what we are left with for the box. So I'm going to set that off to the side so I got some room here. And let's go ahead and assemble it. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. So I'm going to pop this off. You can pop that off. That's where you get to your engine detail. Let's go ahead and look at that before we put everything together. But you can see we've got pretty good engine detail. I think it's pretty darn good. Sprint cars in general, I've really fallen in love with these, especially because their detail is really, really good. NASCAR's going down, so it's like, well, if it weren't for the raced versions, I don't know how many NASCAR ones I'd even be getting. But for sure, with the detail on these, I love getting sprint cars. So that's what you get for engine detail. You know, kind of have that underneath. You can see the steering rod. Looks like that actually came out. So you can see the steering rod here. I'm going to go ahead and put that back. We can see it kind of popped out of place. There we go. Get that pop back in place. And now we're back to normal. That's where it's supposed to pivot from. So can't tell, is it broken or do I need to? It'll be fine. So anyway, there's the steering rod there. Now we'll go ahead and put the hood back on there, or the engine cover. They don't really call them hoods, but there's the engine cover there. We'll go ahead and get this on now. The one thing about the top wing is you have a little bit of wiggle in here, and that's good because you want that wiggle. I find it's easier to put it on the front first, kind of get it stuck to the front, and then kind of bring it around the back. So it's basically like a spring. You need to have, hey, let's get a little closer. Drop a level here. There we go. So I find it's easier to clip it to the front and then stretch it across the back. So now that I got this end off, let's go ahead and wiggle it off again. So basically with our front end here, I kind of get it lined up. I don't know if I can see it here. So I got that lined up. That feels right. Then I pull this back until it snaps around the cage. And now it's on. You can actually pick it up by this. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's a strong connection. It's not going anywhere. So it's not like it just sits on top like the Lionel one. These clip into place, and once they're in place, they are in place. Then the front wing, I don't know if I found the right way to do it necessarily, because it's always been a little tricky to me, but there's 2 sets of holes. There's one hole right about down here in 2 of the crossbars, right there, and the other 2 holes are right up here on the end. So 2 holes right there. I find it's easier to get the back ones in place just because they're harder to see and they're kind of harder to maneuver. So I try to just kind of pick one at a time and try to line them up. It's a little hard while I'm trying to do this with a camera in front of me. There we go. So we just kind of work our way around there, and we're just going to try and snap it into place. You know what? Let's go ahead and just do the front first. Maybe I'll try that method. See if See if we can learn something today. There you go. So I got one on the front end. There's the other one in the front. So the fronts are in. Oh, that's way easier. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm going to recommend that right now. You put the fronts in, and then you just tip back until the other one's locked in. But again, real strong. Once it's connected, it's in there. It ain't going anywhere. So it doesn't just sit in there. It's really connected in there good. And this appears to be actually broken. I'm going to have to put that back somehow because that keeps falling out. But anyway, so from there, let's go ahead and look at the car here. We've got chrome wheels down here with the blue wheel nuts on the back one. You can see they're red, but again, the wheels are chrome, which look pretty good. You got Sage fruit up there on the wing, along with Freightliner, Valvoline, Mac Tools, CMPD, I'm not sure what, or is that MPD? Mopar, Dodge, and then you got Sage fruit across the side here. Open joist on the front wing. You've got Team ASE, and then open joist on the roof. Open joist on the inside wing. On the right side here, this side always seems to have a lot more paint just because you have this cover here. You got Sage fruit. You can see again, we got our number 9 Dodge. All the sponsors are across there, and then number 9 back there on the fuel tank. So yeah, I mean the way that the paint kind of works. This one looks all right. It's not my favorite. I definitely like the Mopar one for the number 9s, but it's still a really cool looking sprint car. I mean, at the end of the day, all sprint cars seem to look pretty darn cool. So it's hard to have a bad looking one, but the biggest thing on these is they are a little bit bigger. Just for reference, here's a 1/24 scale side by side with it. So when you're looking at them, it is going to be a significant amount taller, and it's going to be just about as long. So you're not going to be able to put these in the same places that you put a NASCAR. Also, just generally, I don't tend to display them like this, because you're missing out on all the good. You can kind of do that with a NASCAR because, that's still a decent angle. You still see the hood, the roof, and all that. With a sprint car, you get the banner and the roof and stuff, but you're missing out on, the sides. The sides are where all the real color's at, So I tend to have them on a shelf like this, where they can be perfectly sideways. These I have generally gone this way just because it's more efficient to store more of them. But again, that's just my preference. There's no rule. That's just my preference. So overall, that'll pretty much wrap up this video here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, again, I do have a selection of 2021 sprint cars that are coming out this year on rasdiecast.com. Tony Stewart, Brad Sweet, Kasey Kahne, James McFadden. We've got Donnie Schatz, obviously Macedo. Why am I having Gravel? I was having trouble remembering. David Gravel is in there, and there's more than that even, but those are just obviously the heavy hitters. But yeah, so a good selection of those. I'm excited. I've got already a bunch of them coming in just because I live in Iowa. It's sprint car country, so it'll be easy to find people that are looking for them because these are pretty cool. So anyway, go ahead and check them out there. They'll be at rasdiecast.com. But other than that, this has been Race Grays. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next Diecast review.